Hey everybody, welcome back to Landshark Garage. On this episode, we're going to work on this steering column for the Camaro. Try and get the key switch and the ignition switch working, which means we're going to have to take it all apart. I've never done that, so that should be interesting. But first, we're getting close to car show season. Going to be going back to the 50s. Just did a quick oil change on the 49. I'm going to put these Pro welds on. They're weld stars actually. All right, steering column out of the 1980 Chevy Camaro. Pulled the whole thing out just since we were doing the dash and stuff. When we bought it, there was no key switch in it, and we could start it with the electronic key switch, the ignition switch, which this rod activates when you turn the key. That's how we were able to start it and get it quote unquote running. So I got to get down inside the steering column to do that. So I got a new key switch. I bought a tool for taking out a pivot pin in case I need it. I got a rack. I've got the electronic switch. And we're probably gonna try and paint this column the same color black. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see on that. But we're gonna have to take the steering wheel off. Get into the guts of that. That steering wheel is going to go on the wall. It's not what we're looking for. We got a different steering wheel to put on it. So this is a neutral safety switch, and if you recall, when we were pulling things apart, this rod was hanging down there, and had a lot of people tell me that that's what activates this neutral safety switch. But if you look at the end of this, someone deactivated it several years ago, and it was just hanging there flopping in the breeze. So we're not gonna mess around with these two pieces here. I don't recall this was plugged in when I took the column out, but I'll find that plug in and take a look at it. I imagine it's just jumpered, so it'll start in every gear. We might put something in to rectify that, but more than likely we will not, because all of our vehicles, the 68 and the 49, will start in any gear. They don't have a neutral safety switch hooked up. Call me bad, call me unsafe, don't care. So let's get after this, see what we can do. Having never done one of these, this is going to be a learning game as I go. So there's supposed to be a little wedgie clip right there that keeps this all from sliding off, and I don't see it. Man, everything's got rust on it. For not being a very rusty vehicle, there's a lot of damn rust on this vehicle. Alright, well, after spending way too much time getting 1/4-inch bolts at the hardware facility, I should be ready to rock here. Well, we'll go with the 3-jaw steering wheel puller, which is actually what it's for. Probably should have used that in the first place. Who'd have thought this was going to be the frickin' hardest part of the world? All right, try number 9412. Right, Jake? You are no help whatsoever, pal. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. Oh my God. Probably could have grabbed it with the pliers and taken it off at that rate. But now it's off. So on to bigger and more exciting things. My can cozy my daughter Allison got me. It's made out of a fire hose. And it's got a like foam inside of it. Works pretty good. And MFD, that's the fire department I just retired from. And in it is Bush latte for the farmers. So cruise control, blinker lever held on by a Phillips head screwdriver screw. Takes a Phillips head screwdriver to take it out. There should be some wires attached to that cruise. Goes down the column, so I'll just leave it hanging. Yeah, this is the end of the cruise wire here. Kind of a single plug-in deal, and then the rest of these wires run up that column. I don't know if I can figure out a way to make them slide a little better. I don't know how you slide that whole thing down there. Guys do it. I mean, you have to do it. You just, when you buy this turn signal kit, it comes with them wires and you got to slide that crap all the way down the column, but must be a way to do it. See, there's 3 big number 3 Phillips screws in there. All I'm trying to do, boys and girls, is get down to that rack right there, to make sure that that little keyway is still good in there. I used that 3/8 wrench on this bolster. Made it a lot easier to break them loose without breaking things. So it looks to me like there's supposed to be a screw that goes in here, right here, that probably goes across and holds this in this little channel right here, and that's what keeps it from turning, because it snaps down in there. I can go backwards, but I can't go forward. Not. Oh, get that back out of there. I don't know how many times I can take that in and out of there. I don't recall taking a screw out of there, unless it was this one. Nope. I don't think I had to take them big Phillipses out, because it appears that that rack is working. When I use a needle nose, I can hear my wire, or that little activator for the ignition switch, working. So we're gonna put that in, fall down in there, and then I'm gonna stick the screwdriver in and try and hold it in there and see if that lets me turn the key to activate it. It lets me go back into accessory, but it doesn't go forward. So maybe there is something down inside there that needs to get looked at, but I'm not sure how to take the rest of this guy apart. All right, well, after a lot of time on the internet, I found that, first of all, I was missing a bunch of pieces when I took this steering wheel off of here. So I did find them laying in the trunk, and I kept them thinking that might be important someday. And this is that piece that the snap ring holds on, which I didn't have. Mrs. L bringing the GMC closer to the house because we're supposed to have a good hailstorm this afternoon. I had an extra steering column here for parts to get that C-clip and stuff, their clip, whatever they call it, retaining ring. See how much further I can get. I've probably spent 2 hours messing around with trying to get this off of here. So we took the 3 bolts out, the 3 Phillips headed screws out, and this is supposed to just slide out of there, and it was having none of that. It was not going to do that. And what we finally figured out, after 2 of us beating on it and making sure we weren't going to ruin anything, was that let's let's see here. I got this off of here before. There we go. This will just drop off like that. And the inside of this is nasty, so we're gonna try and clean it up. But this spring right here is all farfignuganed in there, and it was keeping that housing from breaking loose. So we just manhandled it and got it out of there. Now we can take a look at what's going on in there and see if there's anything we need to do. Going back, we know that when we turned the key switch, the rack wasn't working right. Now it is, because I took some stuff out that was in here. Before, you can only put it back in the accessory position. Now you can fully modulate it, but I need to replace it and put that spring and stuff back in. So we will take this little screw out. I tried to get this screw out this morning. Use this as a pointer. This screw right here. I tried to get it out this morning, and I think if you could get that out, you might be able to do some of this rack stuff a lot easier. I thought maybe it was I didn't realize it had this spring attached to it, but let's take that spring out of there. So I'm gonna have to figure out how it's supposed to hook in there, because I've never done one of these racks. But that spring looks like that, and in the package it's nice and straight. So I'm betting somewhere down the line someone manhandled this rack. That's why, hey, who knows, maybe that's why they parked the damn thing. Yeah, Mrs. Nell and I have been messing around with this for about an hour, looking at different videos. They say these are all kind of the same for most of the 70s, but I don't know. My housing looked different than all the ones I was watching on the videos. I finally found a guy that I just watched him pull his apart, and his slid right off. So then I knew, yeah, something's got to be wrong with that. So I might try and steal the bearings out of that. That other steering column I got from a buddy that's from like an 80s Chevy pickup, but I think a lot of that stuff is same in it. This rod that attaches to this rack is got a bend in it. I think it's supposed to have that, though. I'll have to look at that too. Hell, there's pieces in here that are broken. So in this, when you look at this new rack, that pivot pin goes through this portion of the rack. And this came with 0 instructions. My guess is this goes down on here. This goes down through here. Spitballing here, folks. Don't really know, but that's screwed in there nice. Boop. There we go. I take it you just drive it back in there. Huh, that's pretty slick. Never used that before. Might not even used it right. Who knows? Well, we're going to take the other one out. Let's see if that helps us get that out of there. Did I do that right? I don't think I did that right. Pretty positive I didn't do that right. Well, that's gonna make things interesting. I reckon we better see if we can get that back in there. So here we go. We ended up finding someplace on the internet that this is the tilt spring. When I took that other pivot pin out and it snapped, I knew that wasn't right. So we put it all back together, and there's this little tilt spring. You push in on this, and there's a ear there that holds it. You can see how much pushing and turning we did, because everybody on the internet has an opinion on how to do it, but we finally got it by just putting a needle nose in and turning it, and then it came out real nicely. So we should be able to pull these two pivot pins now and see what happens. How's that sound? This is the project of see what happens. Let's do that and see what happens. And the other thing we've been saying a lot is, can we buy that still? Is that still available? This little pivot pin tool is like 10 bucks, and I'm kind of impressed with how well it works. Oh, yeah, and it said something about tilting it up to the highest position, right? Finally, that's been our goal. Wish I'd have saw how it was in there now. So this guy goes on here like this, and then this right here goes on here like that, and then this. Here. Blinding me. This, see these little latches right here? Mm-hmm. That pushes down on them latches and they hook in a pin in there. Is it still attached? It's moving though, right? Mm-hmm. Have to put this pin back in. So this has got to go in like this, and then you have to press it in that whole way, oofty my. But it doesn't want to go in, get in the hole. All you gotta do is go in the hole. Looks like it's bent from banging on it, maybe. High five. Yay. So the next thing to do, I believe, is to bring this guy up through here. Okay. Wonder how that goes back on there. There's a hunk missing out of this. It really makes me nervous. I don't know. Someone got their grubby little paws in there or something. Looks like it's right. Kind of maybe feels like it's right. Sort of could have. I don't know where the springiness in that resides. Oh, there's a little plastic piece. Where's that at? This guy here. So what I found researching on the internet is that this little rod that earlier I thought needed to come out of there is supposed to come out. And that's what holds this little spring in that's on here. So this has got to be in there before we can put all this hooty-hoo in, which is fine. So that's supposed to go in here. And in order for that to go in there, this little black plastic gear needs to be off of there also. This white powdery substance is actually that pot metal crap when it's deteriorating, and that's what was holding this little actuator in. Take our spring back off. And that's what you're... The end of that is what that little spring attaches to. This guy right here. So that can go on there after this gets in there. And one back in. I really want to put some lube on this or something. This needs to be screwed into there, but this little leg needs to go into this little plastic retainer, hopefully. I'll put this 1/4 inch screw in for the last or 15th time, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. Okay. That's done. Let's run this guy in here. That's done. Let's do the turny-whirny on this. Turny-whirny. Nice. Okay, that worked. We got this part working the way it's supposed to. We have to paint the rest of this and find the snap rings and the bearings to put all this back together to make Humpty Dumpty happy again. But this is where we're going to leave you at today. We've got the ignition actuator in. Everything's ready to go. We're just suffering from a lack of parts that came with the steering wheel that I'm going to have to try and locate. And then this bearing cage was horribly beat up, so I'll probably get another one of those. So we'll be waiting a week or two. But hey, thanks for following along today. It's always fun. Every episode we get closer and closer to getting this 80 Camaro back on the road. Never forget, drive your shit. We'll see ya.